At this
And
time,
then
was
go
was
ahead.
there a bidding war for you guys at this time? No.
No, there was no bidding war. I mean, nah, not anything that you could say, like today or anything like this. We were on a label, an independent label at the time that pressed the record. Uh, no money down. You brothers just come to the studio. So we showed up and we put our soul on wax, if you will. So for no money down. And you know, like, well, we got free recording time. No contract, nothing. Just anyway. I don't even say that was a bad deal because it was no deal, right? It was just like, hey, let's have fun in the studio today and record one of your songs. But by the time it got on the charts and it started, like I said, breaking like the top 20 R&B, we were not feeling good because, like I said, it was no money. My car wasn't running. I was actually still on the bus.
Mm.
Uh, we didn't have a video at that time. The record was in the stores, but let me tell you about that. So I went to the store one day, a record store, and I'm like, man, I just want to go see my record sitting in the store. That's all I was going to do. So I walk in there and I go over to the T section and I'm going through the thing and I don't see nothing. Maybe they got it under R for rumors. So I go over to R. I don't see nothing. So I'm like, what? They said it was here. So I go up to the desk and I'm like, excuse me, look for a record, Timex Social Club room. And she's like, yeah, we got. She said, she said, you know what? It's sold out. Dude, I'm sitting there looking at her. Now, half of my body is like, yes. And then the other half is like saying, fool, if it's sold out, somebody making money.
Right.
Somebody getting paid. And you ain't got a contract the first. There's no papers been signed
Mm.
yet. This song is sold out. So I left there immediately, man. I was just dejected. I was upset. I mean, you can imagine that bus ride home. I'm on the bus with a sold out record and a record that's on the radio that's in the top 20. And I'm not feeling good right now because I'm still working my minimum wage job. I'm still struggling with bills. I mean, the things that go through your head as a young man. So I'm 21 and I'm thinking, everybody in the record business is rich. I'm thinking, this is my thought process, right? Because I haven't been here before. So like something is wrong. And I'm also the leader of the group.
Mm.
So now I have to go back and tell my boys, yo, we in trouble, man. We in trouble. We messed up, man. I don't know how to get us out of this, dude, but somebody making bank and it ain't us.
Right.
And the more I look at my cars not running, the more I'm in my penny jar getting, the more I pull back and pull open my refrigerator and I ain't got hardly no food in there. I just get, you get upset. So um yeah, that was a crazy little period, man. But the bidding war, if you will, so that was label A. We'll call that label A. And then label B came around and if you can call it a bidding war, it really wasn't. It was the first record company to offer us a contract and the first record company to say, yo, here's an advance, some money, some tangible monies that y'all can go to a bank in cash and have in your pocket or deposit into your bank account
Right.
to try to relieve some of this stress that you're feeling. And I'm going to get y'all on tour and I'm going to get you a video and we going to start recording the album. And So we signed with record company B, a bad deal. But it was no deal versus a bad deal.
Right.
Like, it was like you put them on a scale, the bad deal won. And we didn't know it was a bad deal because we thought, oh, they just saving us, man. They really, and here was the kicker. Oh, you don't have an attorney? No, don't even trip. I got a legal team that can get you out of that, all that stuff from record company A, and then we'll transfer it over to us, and we'll take care of everything for you guys. So when we heard that, we were like, man, because we thinking lawyers cost a grip. So we like, ooh, he gonna get his lawyers, and we gonna have a music video. We going on tour. Everything happened, but you know what? Bad deals, they're not structured for the artist or the group in this instance. So yeah, the shaft came out. We got shafted, but we got paid.
Right.
We did go on tour. We did get that music video. We did start popping. Now I'm gonna say worldwide instead of nationwide. Now it's overseas. Now we own these compilations with other artists and people know our name, and it's like, wow, we killing it. And you know, so that, I guess you could call that a bidding war, but it really wasn't a bidding war. I mean, when there's $0 versus dollars.
Right.
So
going from record label A to record label B, how much of that album was already completed?
Through, well, Rumors was right, but they redid it, which I didn't like. I still don't like that version that's on Daniel Records. It's too watered down. Anyway, I could talk a whole hour on that, but you know, they hired a remixer out of the UK and put a lot of bongos and bullshit in it, and it lost its street cred. So what people play to this very day is the original one on record company A. That's what they want to hear, and they don't want to hear the bongos and all that on the remix. But that song, you know, Rumors, and then Thinking About You was a demo that I wrote, but I hadn't completed it. So that was on the album. And then there was another song we were working on called Mixed Up World, and that was on the album. The rest of the stuff I think was new stuff they created. But I wasn't there for the album.
Okay.
We had broke up by then. And that's a whole story, but I wrote a book about it.
Yes, got to plug the book. Wow.
It's called How Do Rumors Get Started, and it's by me. And this is us. That's me back in the day. But yeah, I go into deep details about breakup and everything. But yeah, right as we were getting started, man, that summer, the song came out, Rumors came out in February, and by July, that group was gone. So it was splintered, if you will. It was two groups. The lead singer the record company had took the lead singer and got him his own band.
Wow.
And then that left the three of us out on tour with a singer that we hired to complete tour dates.
Okay. We're going to jump into that monumental tour here in a moment. So you're saying that the album, you guys are broke up before the album was complete?
Correct. We were recording the album together, all four of us, and then it was too many things going on, and so we split right in the middle of recording the album. But it wasn't The album wasn't going. It didn't have the urban street feel to it. It was all new instruments. They weren't consulting with me or Alex. And like I told you before, I, I'm a DJ. Alex is a DJ. Come on, bro. We know what move the dance floor. Stupid. We know what the kids want to listen to. Stupid. We know what's going to jump. What? And you got two DJs in the group, and we already proved we knew what we was doing because we wrote rumors.
All right.
So how you not gonna consult us? Oh, we're not the big name producers, but we was big enough to get rumors out.
Right.
So anyway, they went with some bigger names, and they watered everything down. They brought in these new instruments, and I got the new keyboard. It just came out. That's not what we about, baby.
Right.
We on the 808. We on the 808 drum machine. We on the 106 Juno from Roland. That's the feel. That's hood. That's what's gonna make them dance. Not this Fairlight or Kurtzwell or whatever it was. Nobody heard that before, man.
Right.
So anyway, it was just going in a direction that we was like, peace.
When that debut album dropped, what kind of reaction do you remember from the consumers and yourself as well when you heard the finished product?
Hated it. Shout out to Damon Wayans. Yeah, man, it didn't have. I think it was recorded under duress. I mean, we weren't there. We weren't there to mix it. We weren't there to record it. You could tell something was different. If you listen to the 12-inch of Rumors, and then you listen to anything else on that album, you're like, "Ooh, is this the same group?" So without us even saying a word, but things charted. So the other two songs did chart. I can't tell you where they finished because I don't really study those two songs like that. Thinking About You and Mixed Up World, but we just kind of said God bless them, and went out the door, got us some lawyers, and asked for a release, and was gone. But the album, to me, I was kind of ashamed that it was out. I wasn't. Nobody was head over heels over the album as far as I knew. Nobody was. I didn't see people playing it like at parties or carrying it or talking about it or anything like that. It was just mediocre, if you will. It wasn't a flop, but it was. I think it was, on a scale from 1 to 10, it was probably a good 5. It didn't really. I mean, to me, that's just to me. I couldn't tell you about record sales on that joint, nothing, because I didn't really care at that point. So I was like, I was like a dude that I just want my divorce. I don't care. I don't care what happens from now on with this thing, man. Y'all running into the ground. This is my baby, but damn. Didn't have to go down like this, but yeah, so I kind of just left, started doing my own thing and producing other people, and exit stage right. Yeah.
You were part of that tour, right, at that time, or were you not?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Let's talk about the tour. You were on Run DMC's Raising Hell tour, 38 dates. You also had Beastie Boys, Houdini, LL Cool J. Talk about that time and some of your best memories.
Well, that was a saving grace right there. At the time, I had quit my job back at the house. Not burning the bridge, but I just kind of rolled up on my boss one day and said, "Yo, man, kind of famous right now. You heard my records on the radio, right? I gotta go. So that was how we were getting paid. That was paying the bills. That tour.
Mm.
Uh, we didn't have any income coming in, so we were on the road. We were actually on a tour bus on the road, hitting city after city after city, state after state after state, getting paid. But that money was going to bills, and my car was in the shop. Finally, I had money to put the car in the shop. So I mean, it was survival money, and it was a fun time. It was a real fun time. We really didn't want that summer to end because we knew once we got back to the house that we didn't have a group anymore. So you know, we were kind of fronting out there.
Mm.
you know, you roll up in Albuquerque or somewhere in New York, like, what's up? What's up, party people? And they clapping, and you're like, if they only knew. So, but we rode that wave. We had to ride that wave, baby. We had to ride it because, like I said, that was the only job I had. That was only income. So it was a great time, man, hanging out with I mean, now, Run DMC, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. LL is in there, Beasties. I mean, back then we didn't know all that, right? We just coming up together. So, but yeah, we had a lot of fun on that tour, man, with those groups. And I want to say shout out to Jalil Hutchins of Houdini. Um, he just told me a few years ago that he was the one that put the bug into Russell Simmons' ear to hire us. I did not know that. So shout out to that brother, man. I still talk to him to this day. Rest in peace, Ecstasy. But yeah, Jalil is responsible for having Timex on that tour, and what a historic tour it was. We set a lot of records on that tour as far as attendance and sold out dates. So it was good. It was a good look for us, and it kept us. It kept the rate. It kept the record on the radio longer. It kept it on the charts longer, because again, that record was on an independent label. The first record company, didn't nobody know what label that was. It was the first release. So to be on the charts with the record labels like Warner and Epic and the heavy hitters, if you will, and still getting to number one for 2 weeks in a row in the black space, right, in R&B radio. That was big. That was huge. I mean, it was really never heard of, right? It's like, who are these cats? And we did it with no video. Check that out. No video. That video came out I think that video dropped in August or September or something. But when we went number one on the charts, it was July. It was early July. It was like July 12th or something like that. So there was no video to play. It was just play the record.
Right.
And I've talked to a lot of DJs over the years, radio DJs, club DJs, house party DJs, and like, man, we had 2 and 3 copies of your joint in the crate. Because if one got scratched or nicked up, it was so popular to flip it out. Now we mixing, we going back and forth on your joint.
Right.
We playing rumors back. We mixing it. It's so hot. We don't have 1 copy. We got 3. I'm like, what? You're like, yeah, man, that was a monster. And I don't know, man. So shout out to everybody who bought one, everybody who ever danced to it, the people still to this day who love it, when we perform. It's just a blessing, man. I don't really, I mean, things happen for a reason, but I did not see this.
Mm.
I did not see this coming to this magnitude. Like I said, all I wanted was a tape to play in the car. So for people that still love it and ever loved it, never played it, never rocked with it, man, thank you.
No
Thank you
doubt.
so much.
After
Yeah.
Timex Club does its thing, where does Marcus T find himself throughout the years?
I moved to Sacramento, California. I started a hip hop studio, and I started producing and engineering for local rappers in the area. I started educating them brothers at the same time on the ins and outs, what to do, what not to do. And I always made myself available for them to ask me questions pertaining to the music business or anything like that. You know, I'm not a lawyer, but I would take my stories and tell them, you know, um, we had downtime in the studio, or we was just chilling, having a slice of pizza and a beer or whatever. They could always hit me up, and they knew that. So it really wasn't about, making $1 million in studio time and all this. It was really about educating people that were coming up, the people that were interested in music, and sharing, not a woe is me story or anything like that, but, just saying, hey, man, look out for this, and it was really about that time that when, Tribe Called Quest came out with a song, and I forget what it is, the name of it, but in it they say,
80, 40,
industry rule number 4080, record company people are shady.
right.
So I just say, hey, man, that's just real. You brothers need to look out for this, that, and the third. And if you're dealing with somebody's talking this, call me. I'll get on the phone with them. I'll vet it. You don't owe me a dime. Yeah, I don't want to see you getting into something that, you shouldn't be into. So that was what I was doing at that time. I was working with the youth, and I was bringing them up right, and I was there for them, uh, to educate. So yeah, that's what I started doing.
Right.
Hmm.
At what point do we start thinking about writing books and talk a little bit
Oh,
about
so
now?
that's crazy. So on tour, on the Raising Hell tour, I had a diary every night before I went to sleep. I wrote down what happened that day, not knowing that I was gonna write a book, but I was like, I guess I was kind of trying to capture. I get like you could forget the details of something. You go back and say, well, what happened last month on Wednesday, the 1st of last month, and you're like, dang, and then you remember maybe 75% of it.
Right.
But then the other 25 you lost because you didn't write it down. So that's what I was doing. I was just writing. I was like, man, this was a crazy ass day in Las Vegas when we went on stage and this happened, and old girl was over here doing this. And then afterwards we went to the casino. And I was just writing stuff down. It wasn't like in a book form. It was like I said, a diary. But so I kind of, after that happened and the tour ended, I had this diary, and I said to myself, I said, you know what, this could be a real cool book, you know. But then I sat on it, as most, a lot of people sit on the ideas. So um, a few years ago, I I got my stuff together, and I decided to put it out. So there it is. It's out on paperback. You can get an audiobook version too if you want to, listen on Audible, Amazon. You can stream it. It's on Spotify for listening as well. And yeah, it's out. So you can follow the antics of your boys Timex as they were on tour and battling the music business and the trials and tribulations. So yeah.
Very dope. What has the feedback been like on that book?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good. I purposely wrote a lot of funny things into it, so it keeps you entertained, and it's not a sad story at all. Yeah, there's some stuff in there. There's some stuff that make you go, oh, but life is life, man. It's gonna come at you a little weird sometimes, or crazy, or whatever, and make you have some pain. So yeah, there's some pain in there. I mean, I think there has to be to tell a good story, right? It can't be all a fairy tale, but it's mostly lighthearted. It's an easy read. It's less than 200 pages, and again, I think it's going to keep you laughing. I'm so glad that we didn't have TMZ back then, or any kind of cameras up in these stadiums and hotels.
Right.
Your boy might have been trying to bail himself out a little something, but yeah,
Right.
kind of sidestep that, and yeah, I got a story to tell, but yeah, ain't no film. This is all
Right.
this is all on paper, and it was a diary. So the things there are actual events that happen. Yeah, because I wrote them down the day it happened. So
Right.
everything I wrote down is in there, and it actually happened. And when I wrote it down, it was fresh. So I ain't lying. I ain't lying.
It's 2025. What do you got coming up in the future?
So yeah, crazy, right? So in the midst of all that, so our group broke up in '86, in the summer of '86, and then out of the ashes came another group called Club Nouveau. Club Nouveau. And you know them from Lean on Me fame. They won a Grammy for that one, Bill Withers remake. So in 2025, I've gotten together with the original voices of Club Nouveau, Val Watson and Samuel, and myself. And so now we're touring as Timex Social Club, featuring the original voices of Club Nouveau.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all can see us out there on the road. We'll be out there rocking some stages near you.
Got tour dates already
Very
set?
happy about that. No, no. We got some things in the works. So just stay tuned.
Very
Yeah,
dope.
social medias, you can hit us up at Timex Social Club official _official. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Um, and Voices of Club Nouveau, they have uh, their own social media. I don't know it offhand. I should, but yeah, you can always search for them as well. But between the two of us, we'll be putting tour dates out there when they happen. So I'm very excited about that, man. I mean, I've been rocking with Samuel since 2012, just me and him. But now Valerie is, she's joining us. So, man, we about to tear it down, baby. Yeah,
Right. I want to thank
yeah.
you much for this opportunity. Talking to you brought back so many memories. I was a 12-year-old kid here in Indiana when
Wow.
that rumors dropped, and remember, like,
Man.
so when you talked about your cousin in Bloomington, he was
Oh,
not.
okay.
So, I wasn't too far from it. That song was in constant rotation here in Indiana. So, That's awesome.
Cool, man, cool. But imagine me hearing that from him
Right.
and having to lie to him.
Right. Yeah.
And then getting off the phone going, damn.
Well,
Yeah. So shout out to Indiana,